right. Hey guys, Melissa here. I'm getting ready to go to church. My goodness. So I have another situation and they just don't stop sometimes, right? They just keep on going. So, when I was at the laundromat, I had been on the phone asking for help, or asking for a church if they have help with rental assistance, right? Because I lost work. And somebody was sitting by me, and he had a trash bag in his hand, and he heard my conversation. I hadn't. There was no engagement at all with this person. And then he came up to me after and said, "Hey, I heard you talking on the phone, and I can recommend this place for you. I'm like, oh, thank you very much. How kind, you know? So and then he came back around and he's like, oh, and there's this place and this place. He's like, what's your number? I'll text you. I'll text you some more places. And I'm like, oh, okay, thank you. So thinking the best of somebody, right? But being cautious, I was like, okay, thank you. So he sent a text, and then there was like, okay, did you need any help with anything else? And I'm like, actually, yeah, this one and this one, looking for some help with Christmas too. So that's what I do. I look up resources. I, sent one of the resources to Save the Storks. I look up stuff for other people too. And so this is turning into something really creepy. Now, I talked about a work situation where there's just, work relationships and things happen, and it's all in the relationship, right? It's all in, somebody, did this, it wasn't the most appropriate thing, but not a weirdo or anything. Now, this guy is acting like a weirdo. So yesterday he actually wondered if I was going out, and I'm like, actually, I'm staying home today. And he's like, do you want to go out for drinks? And I'm like, nope, I'm staying home today, kind of thing. And then he persisted and he called me. And I'm like, no, no, thank you. And I had invited him to church, right? So I'm hoping this guy gets saved, and I'm just being polite, but there's a boundary there, right? No. And I don't go out with drinks with people I don't know, right? So he had said, okay, then next week we are going to this church together. And I said, you are going to that church next week, not me. So another boundary. Then this morning I see on my phone, hey, like yesterday texting, there were like 3 different times he kept, texting. And I'm getting really uncomfortable now, right? So this morning he texts me and he's like, how about breakfast? You know? And I'm not even awake. I'm just waking up. And then I see I'm already at the church with a picture at the church. And I had said I would see him at 10:30 at church. So yesterday he had asked me for a picture, and I said I don't do pictures. I'm camera shy, and I am. I mean, I'm on here, which took a lot of guts for me to get on here because I am camera shy. But so this is going down really fast, right? This is going south really fast. So this is, you know, he wanted to pick me up, obviously, to know my address. I feel like this guy is in some kind of scamming business because I asked him what he did for work, and he said he plays poker and he helps businesses grow, right? So, go with your gut. Go with your gut. So he is, so because I told him, no, I'm not, I don't ride with people I don't know, right? That's just common sense. He's not picking me up. I'm having breakfast at home. So then he gives me this guilt trip and he says, I'm hungry too, and I won't be at church by 10:30. So I'll see you another time. Sorry to bother you. And I'm like, okay, because he is. And then I get a text, I will help you after church with your mental attitude or something like that. Yeah, I'm like, what is that supposed to mean? So it sounds like a threat. So now, I had to tell my sons, be careful when you go to church, who's there. Just because they feel like this church is home, so they're really comfortable there because they're always there. But now I'm like, okay, this is what's going on. You need to be aware of your surroundings. So now I'm going to be telling the church and the pastor what's going on because this guy looks like he's going to be waiting for me after church. Now, there's a difference between, like I talked about a video yesterday, between a guy who's interested in you and will move mountains for you, and a guy who is coming on extremely strong. You don't even know him. We know that there's sex trafficking out there. And when a guy is trying to get you alone in his car, I mean, those are all major red flags. I don't think it's a cultural thing. I don't think it's like, hey, just let me pick you up and move this fast. And if it is, it's definitely not the way I work. So, so reaching out to people comes with risk. I invite him to church. He doesn't seem to want to go to church, but to have some kind of relationship with me. So you gotta just be like, okay, yeah, you don't want to go to church, too bad. But now because I have, said no to him, he is being kind of violent in his words to me. So these are all bad signs. And if I am shot today for some reason, you all know why. So, yeah, don't like I was watching somebody who said this and I agree with it. Just because you have a big heart, don't apologize for that. So I do have a big heart. I do reach out to people. It's part of who I am. There is a chance and a risk of being hurt. But, I had someone too last night say, I don't think I'm going to do this nonprofit. So we had a commitment, and I'm like, you know, there we had made plans and everything to get this going, and now this. So you gotta, you put yourself out there, you take a risk with people, and then they don't want to keep their word to you. It's pretty discouraging. So I'll go on with it with myself and do what I want to do with it. But like when I was a teenager, like I said, very naive, very, we were up, me and my friend Kathy were up at Hampton Beach hanging out, and, I'm on the back of motorcycles with guys I don't even know. But back then in that culture, I think most of the people were, somewhat safe. I mean, there was a certain community you grew up with. Everyone knew everybody. If something happened to you, you would know, something. And I also felt, like, yeah, taking a short motorcycle ride up at the beach wasn't a big deal compared to getting in a car with someone. So my parents had me watch at a very young age Hitchhiker, the movie Hitchhiker. It scared me to death. So I don't, take rides by myself with anyone. I did hitchhike for a time, which was stupid, but it was with a boyfriend. And so don't be doing this. Don't ever get in a vehicle with someone, no matter how much they try to pressure you into it. And like I said, back in that day, things were very different. Now we're seeing sex trafficking left and right, and it happens not just to kids, but adults too. So, we see, I just saw in the news some woman's body was missing and came up, and just, you want to just not trust anybody, basically. Watch your back constantly. So that's kind of what I'm doing. And I will let people at the church know what's going on because they do have security over there. And I may even get a permit to carry a gun just because of the way things are over here. So, okay, thanks for joining me, guys.